Hi, I'm Ren Ferguson of Gibson Guitar, Montana Division. About 1989, in the summer, Henry, the owner of Gibson, had decided that he wanted to be back in the flat top business. What he had done when he purchased the company originally was he took everything off the floor in Nashville that would not produce a Les Paul guitar and got it out of his way so that he could focus all of his attention on kind of rekindling the spirit of that guitar, learning what it took to make Les Pauls. Now that ongoing process continues today. It is continually refined, whether it's in Nashville, Montana, Memphis, wherever a factory is. That's our goal, is to continually improve the instruments. But at this point, he'd got them up and running and he wanted to build flat top guitars. Coincidentally, Guild was in trouble and their business was up for sale, and he thought, gosh, they're almost identical body shapes to ours. If we buy the Guild company, we can have another manufacturing site and we can build some Guilds there and we can build a lot of Gibsons there, because that's what everybody wants. Well, the offer to purchase the company was outbid by somebody, and we didn't get the opportunity to purchase Guild again. In the meantime, the owner of the original Flatiron company, Steve Carlson, had met with Henry on a number of different times and had convinced him that we needed to stay in Montana. Not only did we need to stay there, but that maybe we should be the ones to build the flat top guitars, because I had all this experience and it would be nothing for him and I to put this business back together. So the end of the summer found us in Nashville in 190-degree temperatures inside of old container trucks, pulling out parts and pieces, old machinery, and trying to make sense of what had been taken off the floor and probably had been transported from Kalamazoo, in fact, down to Nashville and then put into storage. We picked through what we thought we could use and we transported it all to Montana. We rented a small building. We've referred to it as the GAD building, and we started about the process of learning what it would take to manufacture flat top guitars that were replicas of the most famous icon models of Gibson. The process of doing that led us to the need for a building, and Steve took over the contracting of having our current location built, and I took over the construction and design of all the tools and fixtures required to build guitars. We didn't have a lot of resources. We purchased down here in Denver 2 semi-loads of old head tennis racket making machinery. I wasn't sure why we bought it, but it showed up in Montana. We offloaded the vehicles, and then we set about dismantling all this, and we piled the steel in one area, the aerologic control safety switches here, the cylinders there, the aluminum here. We went out in the back of the plant. We got a couple weed burners and an old iron kettle. We made some sand molds out of some wooden frame boxes that I made up that had patterns of shapes of guitars, and we poured molten aluminum in there that we melted down and cast these slugs, went in and machined them up, pinned them, put them together, made our actual bending forms out of scrap aluminum in the beginning. We made everything. We were totally proprietary in that factory. At one time, we made everything, including the truss rod nut. Now, as the factory's grown over the years, we found that it isn't really important who makes the truss rod nut, as long as it's made to spec and it's proper. Same thing with the truss rod. And a lot of the other parts and pieces that are done of the guitar can be done by someone else. Now, the people that ran those machines that made truss rod nuts, they became guitar builders. So now I'm in a factory. It's 2011. Every year we put a few more people on, and we kept growing production. We kept doing the training. We refined the process of building over and over and over again. We have over 1,000 years of luthier experience in that little factory in Montana. The people that have been there, some of them have been there over 20 years now. They don't want to go anywhere else. They embrace the passion of the desire for the customer to have an instrument that was handmade. And that's the way they're made up there. We've taken the advantage of implementing some tools that replace these really dangerous operations like straight knife shapers and table saws, and we've put in CNCs where we can control dimension and accuracy repeatedly. And what we've done is freed up labor hours where people can put more time into sanding, shaping, contouring braces, taking the time to actually precision fit a compound dovetail to neck body joint, to the use of hide glue in our operation so that joints can be taken apart if need be, if repair someday is required. The elaborate and incredibly time-honored system of using nitrocellulose lacquer, which is probably the most difficult finish that's being used short of varnish in the musical instrument trade, is what we have embraced. All the things that are historic about our product line. I mean, Gibson started in 1894, and there's a legacy of quality instruments that we have the privilege of replicating time and time again. We've built entire lines based on futuristic ideas within Gibson, and we have always, as a corporation, raised our sights or our vision to meet the needs of the player. What does the music demand? Back in 1959, nobody seemed to be really interested in the Les Paul. However, that guitar's turned around and become the backbone of the industry. Even though it was visionary at the time, it may not have been a success, but it didn't go away. It stuck. And that's the way it is with all Gibson product. It's still there. From the time they built carved mandolins, to archtops, to orchestra banjos, to electric instruments, acoustic flat tops, whatever genre of music, there's a product that's built by Gibson. And in Montana, I have the privilege of having been there since the beginning and been instrumental in a lot of the creation of new models as well as recreating the old ones. My job, I'm called a Master Luthier. I like to think that's because I've built all kinds of instruments from auto harps to, gosh, anything with strings on it. Really, my job is to take credit for what the other 100 people that work with me do. And I'm really proud of them. We build world-class instruments for world-class players.